What is systemic racism in criminology? Have you ever wondered how race impacts the criminal justice system? Today, we will discuss systemic racism in criminology and its effects on society. Systemic racism in criminology refers to the ways racial disparities are built into the structures and processes of the criminal justice system. This idea connects to the broader concept of systemic racism, which includes discriminatory practices that disadvantage specific racial groups across various societal institutions. To understand this better, let's break it down. Systemic racism in criminology involves the unequal treatment and outcomes that different racial groups experience within the justice system. This includes differences in arrest rates, sentencing, and access to legal representation. It affects every level of the criminal justice system, from policing and prosecution to sentencing and incarceration. From a sociological viewpoint, systemic racism is seen as a result of societal structures and power dynamics. It is not just about individual biases, but how these biases become part of policies and practices. For instance, racial profiling by law enforcement can lead to higher arrest rates for certain racial groups, which contributes to increased incarceration rates. One practical example is the school-to-prison pipeline. This term describes how systemic racism impacts young people. In schools with more police officers and fewer guidance counselors, students of color often face more disciplinary actions. This can push them into the criminal justice system at an early age. Another example is racial disparities in sentencing. Research shows that Black Americans often receive harsher sentences than white Americans for similar crimes. This difference is a clear indication of systemic racism within the justice system. Critical race theory provides a framework for understanding systemic racism in criminology. It suggests that racism is not merely an individual issue, but a structural one embedded in legal and social systems. This theory argues that these systems maintain racial disparities and that policies that seem neutral can sometimes hide or worsen these disparities. In the context of deviance and social change, systemic racism in criminology shows how societal norms and power dynamics shape what is considered deviant and how it is punished. By recognizing and addressing these systemic issues, sociologists and criminologists can work toward creating a more equitable justice system. Understanding systemic racism in criminology is essential for anyone interested in social justice and reform.